Hey guys, Frank here. Today we'll check out some stories from /AskReddit. Here's the first. How are you feeling about Trump revoking enrollment for international students at Harvard? This is a very obvious attempt to get a major institution to bow down to his whims as a lesson to anyone else that might try to resist. It's going to be in court for years. It will get a stay while it's being fought over. Luckily Harvard knows some pretty good lawyers. That's my logical brain. The rest of me has fallen into a nihilistic funk. I think we should stop looking at this as some sort of battle of the elites and look at the facts. This administration sent a list of demands that are not codified into law to a university that is under no legal obligation to comply. Instead of working with the House and Senate to pass a fair and just law that applies to all universities equally, this administration chose to weaponize the government against a university that pushed back. This has nothing to do with education and everything to do with an authoritarian regime attempting to punish and silence dissent. The party of a small government sure is stretching the meaning of small government. Awful, but I'm also worried about the part of the big beautiful bill that basically takes away the court's ability to pursue contempt charges. Sec. 70,302. Well, I suppose that means the best and brightest in the world will be going to Cambridge and Oxford instead, or elsewhere around the world. America's loss. Also, this is clearly illegal and I suspect it won't last long. I mean, it's not like Harvard has a top-notch law school with many of the most knowledgeable lawyers, right? And it's not like almost half the current Supreme Court are Harvard graduates, right? The government shouldn't have a say in private education, and Harvard is a private institution. All the people who are saying it doesn't affect them are making the same mistake spoken about in the poem than they came for. This is what slipping into an authoritarian state looks like. People allow their elected officials to hand power over to one person. Then they can't take it back. I think it is excellent. It will ensure a much higher standard of university and business. Note, I'm from New Zealand and education is our third largest export. This will ensure that the smartest people in the world will have to find other countries like ours to learn in. It will ensure that these gifted graduates will be available for New Zealand business and will have a fond memory of our country, which will lead to future deals and connections. For Americans, it's the dumbest thing I have ever heard of. The foreign students were subsidizing the local students. It's going to ensure that the top universities are stacked with the very smartest people in America, while foreign universities will be packed with the very smartest in the whole world. I couldn't imagine a series of actions so specifically coordinated to weaken and cripple a once powerful nation that is any better than just handing over the news headlines of the series events this regime has orchestrated. They are singularly cancerous to the American people and their way of life. Putin and she couldn't do a better job of ruining America than this president and his administration has. Doomed. Very doomed. This is the beginning of the chapter of a very dark and long book. May we see the end. I think they chose today so we wouldn't look at the big beautiful bill that's gutting education, healthcare, the environment and makes 34% of all spending direct payments from the younger working poor to old rich PPL. It's an intimidation tactic. They probably know it won't be allowed to happen, but they are systematically normalizing this type of overreach. They keep doing this stuff and people will stop paying attention. He's a traitor to America, free speech, rule of law, our Constitution, and the free world. His administration are traitors. His supporters are traitors. They are traitors to everything this country was built from and has always stood for. Traitors. First they came by Pastor Martin Niemöller. First they came for the communists and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the socialists and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me and there was no one left to speak out for me. Here's story 2. What's a sexual red flag you ignored because the person was hot? She kept telling me weird stories about herself that didn't make sense. She broke up with a boyfriend, but he kept coming over. She had cancer, and then she didn't. The final night, I had come over, and I was sleeping next to her naked when her boyfriend came over. I stood in the closet for an hour until she got rid of him. Ever stood in a closet naked for an hour? Not fun. And my stupid ass still wanted her. I was such an idiot. This was over 20 years ago. I went on a date with a woman who said she followed a femininity training life coach on Instagram. She was gorgeous but had no personality and spent the whole date ranting about how women aren't sitting in their femininity anymore, which according to her meant she didn't want to make decisions including what she wore and what shampoo she used. She didn't want to work. She felt intimacy should be a woman just laying there and making noise because women receive. She had a dog, but she was looking to give it away to a new forever home because she said feeding it and walking it was too much work, and she was already planning on basically leaving all parenting if she had kids up to her mother and sister. In other words, she was lazy as heck in bed and in life. She had a wild kidnap obsession where she wanted to be kidnapped in a busy street for a thrill. The cops weren't. I posted about this recently, but she showed me really early on just how only self-involved she treated intimacy, anything sexual. She'd wake up and get herself off daily in bed next to me, begging me to suck on her nipples the entire time, aka 20 to 40 minutes worth. My jaw genuinely ached, but she'd throw a fit if I tried to stop. At no point would she touch my body in any way. Often she'd jump up afterward and go shower while telling me to get myself off. It was so gross. This was basically our only form of intimacy for a long time, and this was the person that swore she loved me and wanted to marry me, LMAO. Love-struck eyes be blind as all heck. Dated a girl for 2 years and she never took her bra off. At first I thought it was just a quirk or we were just too into it to care, but I attempted to get under it with my hands and she'd stop me every time. Then shared showers, she would wear a bra. Found out why about a year in. She had long nipples. Saw them before she had a chance to cover up. She refused to explain or even talk about it. I dropped it. While we were fucking she said please don't leave me, and then broke up with me a couple weeks later. He was very insecure about his genital size. It wasn't even small, it was about average, I'd guess around 5.9-6 inch, 15 cm, but he was obsessed with his size and always wanted to hear how big he was. He also accused me of cheating with every random guy because all women want big DS, edit, because people keep commenting on the 15 cm is 6, it's an estimate. It was about as long as my hand from wrist to the tip of my middle finger, and that's nearly the same size as my phone screen diagonal, which is 15, 23 cm is 6 inch. I've never measured. As for the that's above average comments, I'm German, the German average is 14.8 centimeters, and 2 millimeters isn't really a difference that one could see or feel. Sometimes she would slap me in the face with no warning, but she was also my first serious partner, so I was just happy to be getting some action. Update 1, as an additional note, since this is getting more traction than I'm used to, I want to add that she once justified it by saying it's how I show affection. It should also be noted that we have not spoken to each other in years. He kept talking about Huey Lewis. She didn't want me seeing my kiddo because she was worried I was gonna frick my ex-wife. The same ex-wife who told me she fell out of love with me and nothing could fix it. She was fucking crazy. I'm glad I never brought her to my house. Quite extreme racism towards my particular race, but at the same time couldn't get enough of me under the sheets. She was a freaky kinda girl. Kept up with current events from all around the world. More specifically, one event. The time Osama bin Laden got shot in the head. He wasn't into oral intimacy. I mean, he wants oral intimacy from me, but I got nothing. He said it grossed him out. I cried over him when we broke up. Not sure why. Thank God my next and currently partner is all about it. She was fingering herself and doing coke off my dashboard. Selfishness. He wanted to receive all the pleasure but never even considered my pleasure at all. His kink was something during foreplay and he never wanted to progress to intimacy. I put up with it for far too long. He was fun to go out with and was stupid hot, and in many other ways we clicked, but he was just too selfish. Here's story 3. What is the best thing about having a genital? Being able to pee against a tree. I don't mean it's impossible for a woman, it's just easier for a man to do it. Blasting shit stains you see in toilets. I'm sorry. Picking things up like an elephant. These comments are making me wish I had one. No periods. Being able to pee on things and play target practice. Spreading out my ballsack flat in the shower and cupping it full of water. All good answers, but the best thing is, maybe once or twice in your life, on a calm, hot summer's day, you may be having a pee when a fly or other insect decides to come visiting. If you are patient and have both good aim and exemplary flow control, you can blast that sucker out of the air and zod it straight into the bowl, like some combination of military sniper, anti-aircraft artillery, and police water cannon. Every woman who has ever fallen on her ass pissing in the woods has experienced genital envy. Every single one. Not sitting on a dirty toilet seat in a public washroom. Inserting it into bodily orifices of willing participants. Doing the helicopter to impress your wife. Can urinate into a standard 16.9-ounce water bottle while driving a tractor trailer 70 miles per hour and not spill a drop. Getting to play biggest one gets to top tonight with your girlfriend. Someday I'll actually win one. It keeps me from falling into wells. When I trip and almost fall into a well, my genital grabs the edge and saves me. Best thing about having a genital? Sharing it with those who don't. Here's story 4. What's something that poor people do better than rich people? Making the most out of very little. Creativity hits different when money's tight. If you are in trouble, or hurt, or need, go to the poor people. They are the only ones that'll help, the only ones. John Steinbeck. Handle adversity. I'm a pharmacist and I've worked in ultra-wealthy communities as well as very poor areas. And without question it's the poor-income folks that are better able to handle when things go wrong. If a drug isn't available, or there's a mix-up with their prescription, they are much more understanding and reasonable in their responses. The rich people lose their ship at even the most minor inconvenience. It's not quite ready yet, give me 5 more minutes. I'll take the poor people every day of the week. They are the real ones. Handle crises in stride. I was homeless at times as a teen and I'm now watching my middle class and rich friends really freak out in midlife. They take every problem or roadblock as a personal offense, whereas I'm like, did I eat dinner tonight? Yeah. Then I'm good. Bad things happen, my dudes. Poor people are able to better appreciate a lot of things because they have to go without them. Hot take, not penny pinching their friends. I swear I've never been sent Venmo requests for small amounts as fast as from some of my 6-figure high-earning friends. Generosity. Poor people are more likely to share. It goes against common sense, but it's been proven. Homeless people are known to be especially generous as they understand how it feels to be without. I work in property management and maintenance, and you would be surprised how many white-collar people can't figure out the simplest tasks like flipping a breaker, resetting a garbage disposal, or plunging a toilet. They tend to be more creative with limited resources. Small random but relatable example, using leftovers of whatever is in the fridge, pantry and making an awesome meal. Instead of going out and buying fancy ingredients to make whatever you want in that moment, you need to get creative and hopefully develop some skill. Make a meal out of anything. Empty wife grew up extremely poor, but her mother always managed to put a meal on the table. It's poor people magic for sure. Appreciating the little wins. When you don't have much, even small things feel big. Showing compassion in times of despair because they know what it's like to have no one in your time of need. Delicious food. A lot of really good foods people enjoy came out of necessity and cooking ingredients rich people wouldn't have touched. Conserve food, toothpaste, and other household items so that they don't run out as fast. Cooking. To make a lot of cheap cuts good you have to know what you're doing. A fillet is a 7-minute cook, same with a gorgeous salmon. You want to make turnips and brisket good, you need to know what you're doing. That wraps it up. Alright folks, follow for more stories with Frank.